We're in Lab 15, the EMG lab. In this lab, we're going to measure the muscle's electrical activity. So this is one of the physiology lab, but we turn it online, so you are not required to turn in the lab report. And we won't be able to do the experiment, but you still need to know the whole concept, how it works. So I'll explain the whole experiment, and hopefully you read the menu and you know the purpose of this lab. So this lab is to measure the electrical activity from the muscle. So we have the computer, the software, and the electrodes you need to put on the skin to measure the electrical activity. So the EMG, it measures the electrical activity from the muscle. And when you use the muscle, you found you can use the same muscle to lift a light, small object. You can use it to lift a very heavy object. So we're going to talk about how you can use the same muscle to do this different kind of activity. And the key is the summation. So you can recruit different motor unit. So the key is the motor unit. So each muscle have a lot of motor units. And we talk about the unit. That's the motor neuron plus all the fibers that neuron innervate. So they can recruit a few motor units and produce a small power and lift some light stuff. And they can recruit all the motor units, produce a big power, and lift the heavy stuff. So in the activity, we're going to use the software, and that's the software read the signal. And we have to put electrode. So to measure the electrical activity, we put electrode. So you found in AP2 when you learn the heart and we study the EKG, very similar to the EEG, you still put the electrodes and you measure the electrical activity. So you have the ground, the input, the output. So 3 electrodes you put on the hand. And then we ask the subject start to move the hand. And start from the small force, gradually increase the force. So what do we really measure? We don't measure the force because EMG record the electrical activity. Actually, we measure the voltage. So we measure the voltage. So the question asks you, okay, physiologically, what does the EMG measure? It actually measures the electrical signal from the motor unit, or you say the electrical signal from the muscle. And when you do the experiment, we ask the subject contract, relax 5 times. And every time they contract for 2 seconds, then they relax for 2 seconds, and repeat it 5 times. And they gradually increase the power. So start from a small contraction, and gradually it go to the biggest contraction. And why do you need to rest? Why not just keep contracting? Because, well, in the class, we talk about every time you need a muscle contraction, well, you need the electrical signal to trigger calcium release. So calcium is the key to turn the electrical signal into the mechanical contraction, because calcium is going to bind with troponin as trypomyosin shine away, and acting the myosin cause a big power stroke, muscle contraction. And after muscle contraction, it takes time for the calcium to pump back to the SR. And we want to have a clear baseline. That's why we need to relax. So it give time for the calcium pump to pump calcium back to the SR, to remove the calcium inside the cell. Because once you have calcium inside, you have muscle contraction. So that's why they need to rest, to give time for the calcium to move back, and also you have a clear baseline. And the activity, okay, let's look at activity. Even though we don't do the experiment, but the experiment result gonna look like this. And that's what we measured in the EMG. So it's all electrical signal. We ask the subject contract 2 seconds, relax 2 seconds, and repeat 5 times. And they gradually increase the contractility. So once it reaches the last time, that's the maximum power. And this one shows you the muscle contraction. This is the muscle contraction. So you know they correspond pretty well, right? So every time the 2-second contraction, relaxation, and that's what they do, and that's what the EMG recorded. So when we analyze the data, he asks you 2 questions. Why they correspond so well? So why they correspond so well? So you have 2-second contraction, 2-second relaxation. Are the duration identical? Pretty much. And you say this is electrical, this is mechanical, they are totally different. Why the timing match? And the answer will be because electrical signal trigger the mechanical events in the muscle. So you need the electrical signal, and the muscle generate action potential, release calcium, and the calcium will trigger the mechanical event. So electrical trigger mechanical. That's why the timing, they overlap pretty well. And why the amplitude, they correspond pretty well? Well, the same, because you recruit more motor unit, you release more calcium and trigger a bigger contraction. So that's the answer for these two. Okay, that's it.